All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make sure we've got the right things up here. Pin that video. Nice to see some of your faces this morning, even though you won't be in the YouTube recording. Still good to see that you guys do still exist. It's exciting news. I thought Michaela was putting on a hoodie backwards. I was about to say, Michaela, you're doing it wrong. All right. All right. Fun videos. Love it. Okay. I guess I should start actually doing what I'm supposed to do here. Huh? Yeah, let's go to this one. Let's do that. And there we go. More people coming in. We got to start with bell work today, as is our norm. Hopefully you've gotten through this. Again, bell work does not have to be submitted. Please do not submit the bell work. I do not want the bell work. I have no interest in the bell work. However, tomorrow the bell work will be very helpful for you, as you will need to take a quiz. And my guess is much of the information from the bell work this week will be reflected in some way, shape, or form on the quiz. So make sure that you have done the bell work. If at this point in time you're like, I haven't done any bell work this week, so boom, in your face, like, cool, I don't have a problem with it. But, you know, just understand tomorrow could be, how do you say, tricky. Tomorrow could be tricky. Speaking of tomorrow, today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday. Lots of stuff on tap tomorrow. Please make sure that you get A3K done. That's 2 of the 2-step lessons and 1 of the 5-step. Please make sure that those get done. I got a whole lot of people who were done on Monday. I had a whole bunch more people join and get finished on Tuesday. I had other people get finished on Wednesday. The sooner that you get all of that stuff done, the better. Speaking of, no red ink at this point in time. I only have 27 people. 27 people. There are 48 people on this call right now. There were only 27 who have signed up for no red ink. So there's at least 20-some people, 21, I guess, mathematically, at least 21 people who are on this video call who could still join red ink and get that stuff done. There's only one assignment this week, and that is doing the assessment, the initial assessment. So please make sure that you join and do the initial assessment. That would be great. That would be really great. So make sure you join no red ink. Those of you who are still typing at me, what is the code? Come on now. Scroll down through Edmodo. It's in there. I put it in a comment on one of the other things. I can give you the code right now because it's striped, STRIPED. You know what? I'm not going to give you all the rest of it. Find it on the website, because honestly, I don't want people who are not in our class who are going to watch this on YouTube and then have to start dealing with a whole bunch of extra students. I changed my mind. That's right. If I check this, I don't know what that means. You guys are looking for the code for the red ink? Yeah. Go and just scroll down. It's on the Edmodo page. Scouts Honor. Scouts Honor. I have never been a scout. Scouts Honor. Oh my goodness. Wow. All right. Sorry about that. I don't know what just happened there. 3 fingers? Really? All right. Wow. This is going to be a weird day. All right. Qasim, I see you. I'm ignoring you. But thanks. Here we go. Number 1 on your bell word. Combine the sentences into one sentence. The sentences are, I'm not going to read you the sentences. The sentence should then read, women in the Navajo tribe prepared all the food and cared for the children. Done. Correct the inappropriate shift in verb, voice, or mood. Hey, you know what? We got a passive voice problem here, don't we? Let's make it active. When we searched the school for damage, a broken window was discovered. Instead, it should be, when we searched the school for damage, we discovered a broken window. Number 3, you should circle number 2. I know it's confusing, but number 3, it's a definition number 2, distance from the equator. Let's see, what else we have? Underline any gerunds, participles, infinitives. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an infinitive citing, to see, the verb to see, which is acting as an infinitive here. And then lastly, infrastructure, break it into pieces. Infra, I-N-F-R-A, is your prefix. S-T-R-U-C-T is your root. and then your suffix is going to be U-R-E. U-R-E. Got more people who are in the waiting room, so we'll get those people in. At least we'll attempt to get all those people in. There they go. All right. Everybody who just joined us, sorry, you just missed the bell work. It's very sad. Oh boy. It's a much bigger version of me. Let's see, we got to do this. Going here. Let's bring up some poems. Today, a couple of poems. At least we're supposed to do a couple of poems. We'll see how quickly we can get through both of these. Our poet today, as soon as I find it, our poet today is William Blake. Where is Poison Tree? I found it, right at the top. Our poet today is William Blake. Let's see if we can make this bigger so everybody can actually read it. Move it over there so we have some room. All right. We're going to do two different poems by Blake today. Blake's old dead guy. Congratulations, I guess. His poems lie in a place where there is a lot of religious symbolism. There are going to be allusions that are going to be present here. So one of the things that we'll do is make sure that we actually understand what an allusion is. And again, allusion, not illusion. He's not a magician. He's not going to pull a rabbit out of a hat. Not going to do any of that kind of stuff. So an allusion is a reference to a prior existing work. So essentially, it's a meta poem, if you will. It's a meta reference that shows up in a poem. So an allusion is a reference to something else. Now, when we're referring to other works, when we refer back to other works, we of course need a touchstone that lots of people know. It's bad if I try to refer back to like one of my jokes from 2 weeks ago, because there's maybe 30 people who even heard the joke the first time. So it's not a great thing for me to do. Instead, you need to do an allusion to something that actually everybody knows. So usually those end up being kind of very big texts that people are familiar with. The Bible is generally one of those texts. And that's here in the United States, or at least in Western culture, because those are books that are generally known throughout Western culture. Now, that said, that's not the only way for you to make allusions. Also, mythology. Many of us have studied here in the West the mythologies that have actually preceded us. You guys probably even more than prior generations. In earlier generations, we spent a lot of time focusing on Greek and Roman mythology. Now there's probably been a little bit more discussion of some of the other mythologies that also lie, whether it's Norse mythology or whether it's Egyptian mythology. There certainly is a greater discussion and a greater understanding at this point in time of those particular things. So allusions are what we're going to look for, and it looks like already you guys are ready to attack this. So let's go ahead and underline some of the keywords here that make you maybe go, oh wait, this is interesting. So apple, garden, maybe this is ringing a bell for some of you. The idea here is that there is a reference to Eden. And Eden is the garden where the first two humans, at least according to the book of Genesis from the Bible, the first two humans lived. It was a very serene and calm and perfect place, and they messed it up because somebody decided to take an apple from a tempting snake or serpent or beast, or I don't know, do what you want to here. So here, let me get these people who are arriving, make sure that we get everybody into the room. All right. So the idea of the apple in the garden, they've already jumped out at you, which is great. It's good to see that. The idea of it being poison is also somewhat key here. Hopefully you got these notes, because this is the point where I'm going to go ahead and hit the clear button. Oh no, they're all gone. Don't worry, they'll be available online on YouTube later. But this way we can actually try to get back to the actual poem and read it a couple of times. So please follow along. You can read it to yourself if you want to. Nobody else is listening, probably. This one's A Poison Tree by William Blake. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not. My wrath did grow. And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears. And I sunned it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. And it grew both day and night till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. And into my garden stole when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning, glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. Well, this one's kind of dark, I guess. All right, let's go through it one more time. Make sure that you hear it. Make sure that you're paying attention. Again, read it out loud if you want to. Super fun. A Poison Tree. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not. My wrath did grow. And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears. And I sunned it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. And it grew both day and night till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. And into my garden stole when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning, glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. All right. So as we're looking at this poem, I guess probably the easiest question to start with is, what happened? What happened here? What is it that has taken place? Let's see. So at this point, we still have all of these things about snakes in the chat. But what actually happens in this poem? All right, Aaron says he killed his enemy. He killed his enemy. Kang says he nursed his anger until he snapped. Ooh, wow, that's brutal. Serenity says he did something. Well, I mean, she's not wrong. He did something. Let's go back up to the top. Ian says backstabbed a friend. So I'm not sure friend is exactly right. So let's make a couple of notes on here. Again, those of you who are trying to make notes and are enjoying the opportunity to make notes, I too think it's fun. I'll take care of it though. I got you. All right. As we look at this, the first two lines, we can see I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. So when he's talking about his friend, he tells us that he told his wrath. What does wrath mean? While we're thinking about words that we may not know, that one might be a problem. 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 There's lots of words for us to pay attention to. So if you're wandering around trying to figure out stuff, it might keep you busy for a second. My internet connection may be unstable, so if I start to jitter, it might be me as much as anything. Anger. Anger is what everybody is saying, and I agree with what you were saying. So he told his anger, and his anger was over. So first two lines, Blake is telling us, look, communicate with your people. Everything will be fine. You can be angry at your friend, but if you talk it out, then everything's fine. Is that what he does in the next two lines? The answer is no. It's definitely not what he does. He did not tell it, and so his wrath did grow. He got angry, he got mad, he got jealous, he got whatever this is. I mean, he does tell his anger, but you know, there could certainly be other things here that are driving this. But he gets mad and doesn't say anything, and things get worse. So as we're talking here, he says, I watered it. And so here, let's clear all of this and start again. Watered it. What's the it? What is the it that he is watering in fears, night and morning with my tears? What is it that he is watering? So yeah, the watering that he is doing, and I'm seeing things come across on the chat, it's his wrath, it's his anger. So he is actually growing his anger. His anger is growing because of fear. His anger is growing because of his tears. So his fears, his sadness, these are the things that are making it grow. And then smiles. Now I'm not sure. I mean, this part makes sense. I understand this part. I don't understand. I sunned it with smiles and then soft, deceitful while. I have no idea. What's a soft, deceitful while? Is that like a breakfast food? I mean, it sounds like it could be. Deceitful is deceiving or misleading others, says Zachary. Fake smile is what Julian suggests. So we've got a couple of different ideas. He pretended that everything okay. Thank you, Potter, for that one. So we see here that he's acting, I don't know, like a middle school student. Oh no, everything's fine. Everything's okay. No, we're still best friends. You're not best friends. We all know the truth. So yeah, he's acting fake. He's a fake. He's a fake through here. So we can see that even these actions, some of which you may be familiar with, I don't know, very familiar with maybe, you can see that they were actually detrimental to him. Well, they're detrimental. So it grew, again, still talking about anger, both day and night, till it bore an apple bright. I underlined bore a minute ago. What does bore mean? And I know the first joke that comes to mind is this class. Thank you. I'll take that one. You can do the actual definition. Gave. Aaron says gave. I'm with that. I'll take that. So it bore an apple bright. Root word of boring, says Julian. So yeah. So it made an apple. You think there's a literal apple here? What do you think we're actually talking about? Is this really literally about an apple? Did he actually grow a poison tree somehow? And if so, where can I get one? Do they sell them at Home Depot? Do I need to go to Lowe's? I'm okay with any of these things. Let's see what we've got here. Let's see. Lots of different thoughts. Let's scan through them. A final act of revenge. It's his actions. It's the anger inside him. So then when we get down here, I mean, we see that he sees something shine and he knows that it's mine. So we're talking about jealousy here for sure. And this is jealousy on the part of the foe. He is jealous of this apple. So we see some jealousy here. And then he steals into my garden. When we say he steals into my garden, what does that actually mean? Again, these are old poems. Not Shakespeare old, but certainly old. So garden is, of course, garden is British for backyard. So it works there. But stole means really more broke in. So he broke into my garden when the night had veiled the pole. So veiled, oh boy, veiled. See if somebody did the work on veiled for us already. There's some good ideas that are coming across from a lot of students in the chat at this moment. So I am glad at this. Luke says veiled means hid. So when the night had hid the pole star is a way that we can actually refer to the North Star. So just like yesterday, when we were talking about the ideas of stars, we have the same type of imagery that's actually appearing here. Oh, wait, did I say imagery? So, okay, there's definitely imagery apparent in this poem. There's probably some kind of metaphor in here as well as the aforementioned ALLUSION, the illusion. So lots of things for us to look at this point in time. And then we've got this last line. Seems like we have a dead foe. Seems like we have a dead foe. So here's my question to you. Did he literally kill his enemy? Did he literally kill his enemy? 2 yeses, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, no, killed him with words. Ooh, that's fun. Kind of all over the place. A lot of no's, we say. And I think that's fair. I think you can look at this in 2 different ways, because this can certainly work on 2 different levels. This could be that he actually did die, or this could be that he was essentially maybe a little bit more middle school, you're dead to me. So it could have been either one of these 2 different things. So there certainly are a couple of different ways that we can get to the same place. Dr. Schwartz says the whole poem's a metaphor. So this has got to be a metaphor. It seems fair. It seems fair. So probably not necessarily a dead body. Although, you know, this certainly does appear to be somebody who is dead. All right. So there we go. A poison tree. That's the first of the 2 that we're going to do today. Let's see. Do we have enough time? Looks like we got enough time. We'll see if we can try to swing through this. Luke does make one other suggestion, and that is that maybe the foe died because now the guy is nice and no longer a foe. So maybe this is fixed. Maybe when the tree bore an apple bright, it actually came, or it was actually given to him. But the idea that he stole into the garden probably makes that a little bit problematic, especially when he steals in when the night had veiled the pole, which means it was so dark that you couldn't even see the North Star. So also the fact that he was glad to see that his foe was outstretched beneath the tree. One other thing that I want to make a point about. This one's weird. Sorry, colored right on top of that one. Let's keep going. Oh my goodness, this is taking forever. Look at all this punctuation. Seriously, look at all this punctuation. Every single line here ends in punctuation. We have a wide variety of punctuation. There are commas, there are periods, and there are semicolons. I love a semicolon. Always a fun thing to do. So to a certain degree, oh, and a colon as well. Forgot to mention the colon. To a certain degree, we really don't have any thoughts that extend line to line. Now we kind of do, because we do have, you know, these things that do allow us to still have a complete thought that takes more than one line. But there is an intent here by Blake to make sure that we actually pause at the end of every line. Oh, is there a reason why we would pause at the end of every line? Oh, can't do it. Oh boy, there we go. Not great. F, F, G, oh no. My handwriting is getting really bad. And then H, H. Yeah, we have a very definitive rhyme scheme here as well. So Blake's given us a lot to see in one particular poem, an awful lot to see in one poem. So this is definitely one, if I were going to find a reason to try to recommend that you go back and watch the video on YouTube, this is definitely one of those poems to actually try to watch. Either that, or make sure that you go all the way over to winthropwhite.weebly.com, go to the COVID-19 resources, and take a look at the poem from there. All right, we're going to jump from this one. Let's clear this. And we're going to jump to the other one that we need to do today. Look at me. This is great. I'm going to turn my head like that so I don't look as awkward. Nope, it still looks awkward. Dang it. All right, let's try to get through one other poem today. The other poem that we have today, I need to click there, is called The Garden of Love, which seems like it's to some degree kind of the opposite of what we just did. Poison tree and now Garden of Love. So let's walk through this one, hopefully in a timely fashion, since I think I'm down to about 15 minutes, so we'll move fast. All right, Garden of Love by William Blake. Follow along, please. I went to the Garden of Love and saw what I never had seen. A chapel was built in the midst, where I used to play on the green. And the gates of this chapel were shut, and thou shalt not writ over the door. So I turned to the garden of love that so many sweet flowers bore. And I saw it was filled with graves, and tombstones where flowers should be. And priests in black gowns were walking their rounds, and binding with briars my joys and desires. What? I don't even know. All right, let's try it one more time. Let's see if I can actually read it better this time. I went to the Garden of Love and saw what I never had seen. A chapel was built in the midst where I used to play on the green. And the gates of this chapel were shut, and thou shalt not writ over the door. And so I turned to the Garden of Love that so many sweet flowers bore. And I saw it was filled with graves, and tombstones where flowers should be. And priests in black gowns were walking their rounds, and binding with briars my joy and desires. Well, this one does seem dark. I see already coming across the chat a whole lot of people saying, "Whoa, holy cow, this is weird." The similarities from the last poem. I mean, hopefully one thing immediately jumps out at you. Little circling music. Yeah, look at all these things. Look at all these things. So we do have garden is back. The word bore is back. We do have some particular things that have returned. Not to mention, like I've just circled, every single line has punctuation again at the end of it. All right, so yeah, rhyme scheme wise, love, seen, midst, green. Oh, so wait, there's maybe something there. Shut, door, love, bore. Oh, look at that. I see. Graves, be, rounds, desires. That didn't work at all. Rounds, be, what? No. Hey, you know what? I feel like this is an opportunity instead for us to find something totally different. If we look here, we actually have internal rhyme on these last couple of lines. Internal rhyme is the same kind of rhyme that we see generally at the end of lines, except we see it in the same line. So we see internal rhyme presented here by Blake. So, and priests in black gowns were walking their rounds. So maybe you can make the argument that that's maybe just a half rhyme. I'm not going to be overly picky, but I think it's close enough. Briars and desires comes together as well. Kang points out there's definitely a rhythm. There's a meter to these two lines as well. So he does lead us to the fact that there is going to be a rhyme. He has directed us to pay attention to that particular thing. So we have those particular things as well. Elias suggests, it looks like there's definitely something religious here. I wholly agree. The fact that we have a chapel, thou shalt not is there as well. We have graves and priests. So we have a handful of different things that are happening here. This one certainly is not as easy. I'm not sure the last one was necessarily easy either, but this one is not extremely straightforward. But Garden of Love, this is the real key line for us to get an understanding of where he is at. So if we're trying to figure out setting, we know that he went to the Garden of Love. We know that's where he went. But the reason that there is a Garden of Love, that there is importance of this setting, is that this is a place where he used to come and play on the green. A green would be a park. So this used to be just wide open space for him to go and play. But things have changed. Things have changed, and we know that from this particular line. A chapel was built in the midst of where I used to play on the green. And it's not just a chapel. It's a chapel and also apparently a graveyard. This is a rather goth. Enjoying this. So we do see this kind of big shift from two different things. Qasim suggests, wait, this seems to be something ironic. I think there is some irony here because this is a place where he came and enjoyed his time as a child. And now, I mean, I'm going to guess he's gotten older, right? And now if he's gotten older and he's coming back and instead of it being a playground essentially for him, now it's a graveyard. So I think there's a bigger theme to this poem where he's talking about passage of time, and specifically of people aging. Now, I wouldn't know anything about aging at all. I'm as smooth-skinned as I was, 781 years ago. It's tough being as handsome, dashing as I am. Only now has my beard turned white. Only now. Nevaeh, I will make fun of my white hair. I don't need you guys in the chat to make fun of my white hair. That's hurtful. It's hurtful. It is opposite day. All right. Yeah, exactly. The white hair is because it matches my name. I went with the theme. You're welcome. Speaking of theme, let's go back to this. Passage of time and people aging. So we can see that in one stage of your life, a thing can mean something to you, and in a later stage in life, that same thing or that same place, well, now it's totally, totally different. All right, nerds. Let's deal with the dumb elephant in the room. Yeah, okay, fine, it's my birthday. And yes, I chose this poem on purpose. On purpose. It's funny for me. I'm enjoying it. All right, Qasim, calm it down. Calm it down. All right, everybody stop sending me messages. You don't have to send me anything. I understand. Okay, all right. Oh my goodness. Okay, everybody calm it down. Let's get back to this. But this particular poem, again, Blake, I think these two different poems do try to set up what looks like is going to be two very different things. But realistically, he's talking about the same kind of idea in each of these poems, that, things can be one way or they can be a second way. And in this one, this is about passage of time. In the previous one, it was about whether or not you can actually converse and be open and make sure that your experience is not a terrible one. And so I think both of these poems can be really helpful for us. You do need to remember that ultimately, Garden of Love is happening whether you like it or not. And you can live the poison tree throughout that life, but there's probably some value of trying to have that Garden of Love. Again, Garden of Love, and especially the word garden, is probably supposed to evoke the idea of Eden yet again. And that Eden had been great at the beginning, and then, like the biblical story, Eden not so great after things go a little bit sideways. So, trying to keep an eye on this, thou shalt not, being the point that is written over the door. So saying some things about, previously you could do what you wanted to. You could play, you could laugh, you could enjoy fun. And now it's thou shalt not, do not have fun. So there's Garden of Love and Poison Tree by William Blake. Again, lots of stuff from Blake. There's a whole lot of, it's hard to say. There's a whole lot of poems that I super enjoy from Blake. I hate to say that, but it's true. Some of them are really enjoyable, and it's because it does a really great job of being able to balance these different ideas in these poems. So again, when we put up the video later on today, I'll of course give you some links, and if you can go through and read some more stuff, that's great. A couple of different things. First person, 3 stanzas, 1, 2, 3. Rhyme scheme, not exactly perfect through there, but there is definitely a rhyme scheme, and there is some intent at rhyme. But my feeling on this, this is not my favorite way to actually use rhyme, to use it this every other lines. So those of you who right now are trying to work on your poems and you're like, well, maybe I'll just rhyme this line with some other line. My feeling is, if you're going to do poetry, and you're going to do rhyme, and you're going to do rhythm, you're going to use meter, go all out. Really go all out and hit each of those notes. As we continue through this unit, you'll see some more poems that are actually going to fit more into that style, and we'll talk specifically about that. That said, the one big takeaway from this particular poem is his use of internal rhyme on these last two lines. And I think his use of internal rhyme is really great here, and it's a really effective tool to try to break things up and show some different sides. Outside of that, those are the big takeaways for today. For tomorrow, please make sure that you're staying on top of all this stuff. I understand there's a whole lot of wackiness that's going on with different assignments at different classes, having to go and watch Bull or having to go to office hours with Reeb or whatever else you've got going on. I understand there's a lot of things. I appreciate the work that you guys have put in this week. Those of you who've gotten everything that you can done at the very beginning of this week, and now you're sitting back and relaxing, keep in mind you still do have a quiz tomorrow. Look over your bell work, make sure that you understand it. If you didn't understand everything, go back and watch the video again. You know, everything is up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or at least this one will be up. Make sure that you're understanding everything. I've gotten a whole bunch of poems already sent to me. I appreciate those. I will get those marked up into the grade book and back to you as quickly as possible. Quiz tomorrow, lecture tomorrow. I'll see you at 11. In the meantime, our big three things, please keep focusing on these. Take care of each other. Keep an eye out. Be kind to each other. Be kind to your family. And also, oh, thanks for writing right on there. Oh, boy, you guys are terrible. Be kind to each other and be kind to yourself. Thanks for the birthday wishes. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.